Hey you, how's it going? My name is Ruby Bryce and welcome to the very first episode of Fresh from the Scene. Before this podcast really gets started, please could you share it on social media because that will really help us out, and don't forget to leave a review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to it on. You can find us on Twitter at FFTScene, that's FFTSCENE, or if you're lazy, at Rubes. Now enough about me, here's the podcast.
You're listening to Fresh from the Scene with your host, Ruby Price.
Welcome to Fresh from the Scene. Today's guest is the ever-lovely Alex Vallejo. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
I got it right. For those of you who are unaware, I'm going to let him, just sort of describe Vallejo in as many words as he can.
Okay. Well, it's like proggy instrumental rock sort of thing, very guitar-centric. Loads of really nice melodies, some nice riffs. And it's going to be an emotional ride with some banging tunes.
Some banging tunes. Yeah, you've got an EP coming out soon, haven't you?
Yeah, coming out on the 12th of the 11th.
The 12th or the 11th. Is that whichever day's the Friday?
It's the 12th of November. There we go. And it's a Tuesday.
And it's a Tuesday?
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot.
Unconventional release date.
Oh, yeah. It's the only day I was able to get like a launch gig as well. Because we thought, let's make it bigger. Like, we could release it now if we wanted to. But if we get a launch gig sorted, then more people come to the gig. Because they'd be like, oh, well, if we release it now, they'd be like, oh, okay, we've already heard the stuff, so there's not really much point in going. But, we have a couple live surprises as well. We have a couple covers that we're throwing in. And maybe a little, part that we do a bit of a jam with, the best, rock instrumental boys from Huddersfield. I have the lovely Josh Fielding, who has produced the entire EP, and he's absolutely amazing. He's put so much effort into this actual gig, and I have barely put any. He's sorted most of it out. Yeah, bless him. And John Wallace, amazing drummer, plays for Kill the Silence, and another amazing band. Kieran Bones, plays for Ellicorn, loves the ambient stuff, really tight player. And Pete Rytrek, I think that's how you pronounce his surname. He's just a god at guitar.
Just a god.
Yeah, he's absolutely insane. So I have a really all-star team.
A really all-star team, including a god, and they're playing at Parish on Tuesday, the 12th of November.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Better get down for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me about the writing process, because obviously, it's an instrumental EP. So obviously the writing process is very different to being limited to just like the verse chorus style. Tell me about how you decided to write it.
So the way I go about it is, a little idea pops up, and it might be, a chord sequence or a certain rhythmic pattern, and then I just really go on from there. So in a tune Clearing Paths, I came up with the chord sequence. And I'm like, okay, so those chords are nice, but how we just develop it further? And I'm like, oh, so what about the da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun? That sort of like rhythmic pattern going, and then that became the verse. I'm like, well, okay, for this tune, I kind of wanted like a poppy verse chorus sort of structure. So yeah, and then I wrote like a chorus, but obviously the guitar is playing all the melodies.
Yeah.
And because you need to be a little bit showy as well, there's like a little solo section, and then I gave the bassist Josh another solo section just for him, because there's already too much guitar in the entire EP. I thought give the bass a bit of spotlight. And yeah, but usually it's just where the song takes you, I guess. Like before, it's really what the song calls for, and if you change sections, rapidly and the transitions aren't smooth, but it's what the song wants, then go for it. When it comes to structure and stuff, it's just, as long as it's like a sort of journey in a sense, then I'll be happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, you do get quite a lot of strange transitions, let's say, in prog music, don't you?
Oh, you do, but they're mostly so smooth.
Mostly so smooth.
Yeah, like smooth transitions really get me. Like I love I love System of a Down. They're one of my favorite bands. Yeah, they're just one of the best at coming up with like really smooth transitions in between sections.
Mm.
So yeah, I look to them a lot.
Is there anyone else who you'd say you look up to? With writing music, at least?
Oh, with writing, Pliny. Pliny's a big inspiration. Really big fan of him. Intervals as well. But also like the older rock bands. Like I'm a big Zeppelin fan.
Yeah.
I love Black Sabbath to bits. But I was still am a massive Guns N' Roses fan. And I think everyone knows Slash.
Everyone knows Slash.
Yeah, he was like my guitar idol when I was like 10. Just started playing guitar and like, oh my God, who is this man playing those sweet, sweet melodies? Yeah, and then, you kind of grow out and you grow back in, and then it's like, In Flames and stuff. But I'm a massive Childish Gambino fan as well.
Mm.
And I love Ariana Grande. So, Ariana Grande, to be fair, really inspires my writing a lot.
Okay.
Like with just like really catchy melodies that are kind of not run of the mill.
Yeah.
She's quite unique in a sense. And yeah, and Guthrie Govan, he is absolutely fantastic. His album Rotter Cakes was like the only album I listened to for like 4 months straight. I couldn't get enough of it. And yeah, it's really them. But I think most of the inspiration comes from the people I have around me.
The people you've got around you, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, coming to uni, I learned loads from the uni itself, but what I learned a lot from as well is, peers like Josh and my, best friend Xander and Rue, and how they go about things and how they go about writing. Because they will actually explain it to you.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, you can just go like this and do the modulations like that. I'll be like, okay, fair enough. So I learned a lot from them as well.
So would you say it's good to have a decent like support network in inverted brackets there?
Oh, definitely. You need it. You absolutely need it, especially as an independent artist. I'm not a very big techie guy. I'm just about grasping how to use the Line 6 Helix. So I get Josh to pretty much do all the techie stuff for me, and he's willing, which is great. And if he says he's a fan of the tunes, and yeah, so it's good to have people around you, especially when you need people, to help you with live sets, help you organize out. Yeah, you need it.
Yeah. Obviously, when you were just talking about the writing process, you said like you gave Josh like a bass solo and stuff. So, how much freedom would you say that you gave like the other instrumentalists on this EP, like in terms of writing stuff? Was it all you writing the stuff and then they play it, or was it, you said, okay, this is what I'm doing in this bit. Why don't you come up with something that you can play for this bit?
Usually, I would write their parts in like the verse sections and the chorus sections, and like just the parts that all the parts that are needed, I would write. But when it comes to solos and stuff, they have complete free reign. They can do whatever they want. And even in the other parts, they have complete free reign as long as they abide to the guidelines. Like, here are your guidelines. This is what I kind of want you to do, but feel free to throw whatever you want in. But it's important as well. It makes the piece of music even more unique because you have such a mixture of talent in there with their own ideas, and like everyone has a completely different approach to any piece of music, and they go any way about it. Like if you look at any like composing challenges on YouTube, 5 composers with like the same piece of music and how they adapt it and move it about and stuff. Everyone has a different approach.
I mean, I guess it just stops everything from sounding the same these days.
Oh yeah. In this whole guitar-centric world, you need to be as creative as you are technically capable, because there's so many amazing guitarists out there, so many far better than I, but they don't write out, they don't write anything, and they're not as creative to get like to the forefront.
Yeah.
That's why you have people like Pliny there, because he's amazing. Polyphia, another band that are just insane. Intervals as well. Animals as leaders, they're just crazy. Really, really nice new stuff. And yeah, I think that's what you need to be, coming up. Like Dan James Griffin is another guitarist. Like he's a bit more of an Instagram guitarist. And he's absolutely insane with like the 2-handed tapping stuff, and he's released so many cool albums, and he's like I think he's really pushing boundaries as well, especially now mixing it with like DJing stuff he's doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to be creative.
So, how long have you been playing guitar then?
About 11 years now.
Oh, wow.
But I started out with classical guitar.
Yeah,
so
I did too.
It's a good shout. I think it's important to start with a classical guitar, especially for your left hand. Get it nice and strong. Or if not, play an acoustic or classical beside the electric guitar. But I didn't really pick up a pick until I was about 15. And whenever I played the electric guitar before then, I would still use my fingers, and finger pick and stuff, which, isn't a bad thing. But with the stuff I'm doing, you'll need a pick.
Yeah. You'd have to have some very quick finger, picking abilities to play some of the stuff that I've heard from those teasers that you keep releasing.
Yeah, I guess. I'm mainly more of a legato guy, though.
Yeah.
My picking hand isn't as strong as my left hand. But, hey, some stuff comes out of it, and I think it sounds okay. So.
Yeah, it's sounding pretty sick from what I've heard so far.
Yeah, I'm excited. To be fair, it only sounds sick because of Josh making it. He's making the production so large, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this to hit off.
I'd definitely say that production can make or break a record. I've heard some really great stuff that also sounded shit because of it hadn't been produced to the extent that it should have been. Or I've also heard some really shit stuff, but it was masked by the production because of how well it had been produced.
Oh yeah, of course. There's nowadays I think it's important to have really good tight a really good tight mix and production's all sorted, because people care about the quality of what something sounds like. If it sounds bad, even though if it's a good tune, it still sounds bad. So I think being a musician, you need to be techie. You need to be as proficient with all the tech stuff as you are with your own instrument, and sadly I'm not there at all.
Yeah.
But it's bit by bit though.
I mean, I guess if you've got access to a good producer, then you can you don't have to be as good at the techie stuff.
Oh yeah, you don't, but you still would want to learn. Just so as well, during the whole process, Josh would ask me questions about what I thought about how the guitar sounded and blah 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 and all the frequency stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
At the beginning, I'm like, dude, I don't know. It sounds bright. Is that a thing? And then bit by bit, he kind of took me along. He's like, okay, all this stuff. I'm like, yep, okay, get it now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, what he wants to make sure is that whilst he's producing it, it is your music that he's producing,
Yeah.
and it's how you want it to sound.
Yeah, he's very good at that. He knows what the songs are calling for. That's the thing. A lot of producers and sound engineers just strive for the best sound, and they go for a criteria of does it have this, does it have that? And he's just like, well, what does the song need?
Yeah.
And he nails it, really. He knows. He's a good boy.
So obviously, a lot of the teasers that you've been putting out have got some rather interesting imagery, let's say.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
A mate of mine on Instagram, he's called That's Is, but his name's Jack. He does a lot of videography stuff, and does a lot of vids for Create, Evolve, Destroy. He did all the visuals for them. I'm like, hey, I need to put some teasers out, but I don't just want to put me playing guitar. I don't want some meme stuff, And he's like, yep, got you sorted. I sent him the album cover, the EP cover. I sent him a logo and the t-shirt design, and then he just went for it, really. And I think he's done a great job, because they're endearing, they're kind of funny, but at the end of the day, they get you to listen to the teaser.
Yeah, because you want to see what's going on with the creative stuff, where it's going and stuff
Yeah, exactly.
I've watched them before, we did this interview, and I was just kind of like, what?
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good guy as well. He's really he did them all in a day as well. Just yep, smashed them out in a day, sent them to me. I'm like, yep, thank you very much.
So obviously your answer leads on to my next question. I was going to say, have you got any merch planned for this launch?
Yeah, I got the t-shirts planned. They should be shipped over soon.
Yeah, are they going to look as wacky as the visuals in the teasers?
I wish I could pay for more than 2 colors. No, but it's going to be a little logo on the left side of the chest, and then on the back it's going to be those wavy visual things with pastel pink and white. I'm really into the pastel pink stuff right now. Really, really into it. Yeah, the EP cover is pastel pink with like the artwork on it. All the videos are based on like the pastel pink colors as well.
Yeah. It's very pastel-y.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like I never really liked, that color before, but it's really, turned to me. Like I really want to get this guitar, the Nick Johnston signature Diamond series, and it's called Atomic Coral, but it's just a pastel pink Strat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, please. Why would I not want that? That's absolutely amazing. But I'm going to try and save money instead of spend it because I like the color.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I guess when you buy a guitar, you want to buy a guitar that's a whole guitar. Because, like, your guitars that I've seen you play live, they don't seem to be full guitars. Like, I look at them and it's like, there's something wrong about this, but he's still playing that guitar.
Yeah, I'm really into, like, the headless guitar stuff right now. I wish I had more money to afford them. But I'm playing a Strandberg Metal 7 right now. And it, honestly, I've always been a Les Paul fan, like, my entire life, mainly because Slash and just Gary Moore and peeps like these. They just I used to look up to them when I was a kid, so I'm like, well, of course I want a Les Paul. If that's what they're playing, that's what I want.
Yeah.
But growing out of that phase into like the more proggy stuff, I guess, I saw people playing these headless guitars. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then I saw the neck profile. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. I kind of want to give that a go. And I went to John Petrucci guitar camp in Long Island, New York. And they had like a shop called the Music Zoo. They had like a little setup there and had some Strandberg guitars. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give them a go. And I didn't know how to approach them. I didn't know where to put my thumb. And I'm like, well, this is whack. I don't know what to do with this. And then after that, I was looking for a 7-string to buy. I'm like, okay, so let's take a look. And I just get the Strandberg. Even though you tried it before and you didn't like it too much, just, worst comes to worst, you can always return it and get something else. And I got it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got it now. I finally understand. And it's the best guitar I've ever played. Like, honestly, they make such amazing instruments. Really big fan. And they just look so cool. If people say they don't, then they're just wrong. They look so cool.
That is quite an endorsement.
Yeah. I'm a very big fan of their instruments.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking currently at maybe getting the neck through, the neck through models, but as it's just money.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. People buy his EP so that he can actually buy a new guitar.
Yeah, buy my EP.
We'll put a link up as soon as pre-orders are available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to merch, what's the worst merch design that you've ever seen?
Oh, worst merch. I don't know, but something I don't like are patches.
You don't like patches?
I don't like patches.
Oh wow, that's quite a turnaround, because a lot of the conversations I've been having recently, everyone loves patches.
I know, but it just doesn't tickle me right.
They don't tickle you right.
It's, like, I don't have anything to put them on.
Yeah.
And I quite like if I'm wearing anything like a denim jacket or like a leather jacket or anything, I quite like them plain. I don't like anything on them. Like very Grease style, just plain jacket. Yeah, I just don't like patches. But I think anything with really bad graphic design on, with like like you're 10 years old and you're playing with Word art on Microsoft Office 2003.
Yeah.
That anything with that type of stuff on, and especially stuff that deteriorates when you wash it about 3 times.
Oh yeah, like the cheaply made t-shirts.
Yeah,
and
it
stuff.
gets all crinkly and
like the pattern starts to just completely disappear.
Yeah, and then you just end up with a nice black t-shirt.
Yeah.
They do become great pajamas.
Yeah, they do.
I love the John Mayer merch.
Oh yeah.
I went to see John Mayer like a couple of weeks ago, and we were at the merch stands, and it was so cool.
So cool.
Yeah, I wish I could, have that many options to choose from, but no, for now we just have the one t-shirt. Yeah, and the really good quality t-shirts as well.
Good quality t-shirts, that's what you want.
Oh, definitely. Like, you need to spend that. Well, I can't right now, but when you get to a point where you need to spend a bit extra on like nice quality fabrics and stuff, and like good t-shirts, because if it doesn't feel right, people won't wear them.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously the main point of merch is giving something to the fans, but also marketing.
Yeah.
And if no one's wearing your merch, you've made bad merch.
Pretty much. It's you have to treat it like a brand.
Yeah, definitely.
Like look at Metallica now. Now they're like is it like high? They're quite a high brand, aren't they? Like high fashion sort of stuff. And I see so many people wear like, it's not even merch now. I think it's just like a an actual brand.
Definitely, it's like the Rolling Stones logo. Like those lips that they've got, they're in Primark, they're in like other shops and stuff.
And they get a lot of royalties from that stuff.
Definitely.
And there's also oh no, that just hit my mind. Yeah, forget what I was about to say.
There's also that well-known. Oh no, they're not that well-known anymore.
Oh, there we go. Polyphia. Their merch is really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they have like a massive selection of what you can buy like on the online stores and stuff. And what's really cool that these artists do is that they do merch specifically just for the tour, that they sell only on the dates that they play, like in the venue and stuff. So that's something else to look into if we ever do touring and stuff. It's still really early days, it's still just the first EP, and I did a photo shoot in my room and stuff,
Very DIY.
Yeah, but it's coming out okay.
Yeah.
I'm really about the marketing. The marketing's so hard. Yeah, social media is it's something to master.
Yeah, it's a tough nut to crack, speaking as someone who's, done like a journalism degree.
Yeah. It's tricky.
Very tricky.
When they tell you, oh yeah, post something at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, by 6.
Yeah, it's all about knowing when your audience, in inverted commas, is online.
Oh, but most of the people that follow me are my family.
Oh no.
And they're not really online that much. But I do get some traction, but it's mainly like friends that are following me now. I can't wait to get like a wider audience if it happens.
People who you don't know enjoying your stuff.
Yeah, that would be well weird.
Yeah.
I was doing some stuff with my mate from back home, Alexei. He's studying in RNCM. He showed the people that he was working with some of my acoustic tunes.
Yeah.
And I went back to see him, and like his mates were singing them, and I'm like, what's going on? One, how do they know? And two, they like them. Woo, they like them.
Yay.
You just want people to like your stuff. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Going on what you were just saying, obviously you're from Gibraltar.
Yeah.
What's the music scene like in comparison, like different about, Gibraltar versus Huddersfield?
We have a really, really good music community in Gib. I love home. I love home to bits. And we have a lot of talent that needs to be cultivated and nourished and spread out to the world. Like, bands like Dead City Radio, and, Jesse Sampetta is doing a lot of work as well, peeps from back home. And also a friend of mine, Simon Dumas, he's in a band called King Calloway, and he's doing so much stuff in the States. Like, he's played on the Late Late Show with James Corden and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's really cool. And he also studied at RNCM. As well, there's a band called Six Play, which my guitar teacher's in, and they, go around doing their stuff. Also a band called Paragon. Well, they're not around anymore, but they were great. They released an EP, and they were fantastic. We have a really good music scene, very influenced by 90s grunge rock sort of stuff. But it's quite diverse as well. There's a lot of, like, folky stuff that goes on as well. Obviously we have a lot of, we have a massive pool of so many cultures in Gib for such a small place.
Yeah.
So we get music from pretty much everywhere coming in. So it's good. The music scene there is good. We only have one rock venue though.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it's such a small place, and rock isn't very popular with with the teenagers and like the young adults and stuff. Because in Gib they're really into all the drum and bass and all the raves and stuff. And we have a lot of DJs. And we have like so many festivals, like the Songwriter Festival. We have the Gibraltar Music Festival, which I was happy to play in 2015, I think it was.
Right.
And they played on both days with two different bands. My band called Midriff back then, and a band called Another Day, which was a Guns N' Roses tribute act. So I was slashed for about 10 minutes on stage. It was great. And we have like the Tech Music Festival. And the people pushing boundaries. They're like a friend of mine called Vulgarism. You should check him out if you can, with like really heavy drum and bass sort of stuff. But if we compare it to Huds, I don't really know much of the music scene in Huds. I know the uni music scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really great. It's just hard to find a lot of bands from around here.
A lot of them do tend to be like the student bands and stuff who you'll see playing either like Parish or Northern Quarter, Small Seeds, etc. It is Small Seeds, yeah. I got confused then because I was about to refer to it as Bar 122. That's how long I've been here.
I don't even know what that is. The bar 122 thing.
It's what
Well, it used to be called.
but before Small Seeds it was bar 122, and it had been bar 122 for years, and then like there was a rumor that it was going to shut down, and then it turned out to just be, you know, like a complete rebrand, and you know, they put a tree in the middle of the venue and stuff. It was crazy.
The tree is so cool, though.
The tree is so cool.
Yeah. It kind of gets in the way of when you want to watch the artist and you're at the bar, but still it's quite sick. Love Small Seats. I played that venue once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I haven't been to Northern Quarter yet, you know.
Have you not?
No, I've been meaning to, but so many
It is
things.
a nice little venue. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some vids and stuff, and like Charlie Hula. Yeah, he's a very talented boy. Very good songwriter. But yeah, my main venue here is just Parish.
Yeah.
The Sugar Hill Gang played Parish as well.
Yeah, that's just so weird.
Yeah.
Like, Parish is great because it gets some, you know, like, really, like, strangely high profile or just, like, really old but not known, like, artists. And then sometimes, you know, it's just got, you know, like, this band called Vallejo are playing there in November. You know, like, who are they?
Yeah, no one knows. And they got a top loader to play as well. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I went for that, but I was back home.
You know, you could have been dancing in the moonlight.
I could have been, yeah. Well, probably no moonlight considering the amount of clouds and rain we get here.
Yeah, that's true. What's the weather like in Gibraltar?
Oh, good. It's good. Yeah, a lot better than it is here. It's like, something I miss about home the most is being able to look out my window and I see, you know, the sea.
Yeah.
You know, I really love living next to water. I love going to the beach. I was brought up on it. When you're brought up on it, you're gonna like it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just in love with back home, but right now I need to stay here.
Are you sure you're not writing pop punk music, you know, with the amount you're going on about home?
Yeah, very sure. I've never really written about home.
Have you not?
No.
Maybe something to think about for EP2.
Oh, maybe. No matter how much I love being home, being away from home, the independence as well is really fun. Yeah, it's when I first came to uni, it was a massive like learning curve. You know, really steep learning curve. Because first time living alone, first time having to, cook for yourself really. Because my granny and my mum, they always used to cook for me, and they still do. Like they're coming for the gig.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they're gonna bring food for me. So
win-win.
Yeah, that I'm
guaranteed audience, guaranteed food.
Yeah, what more can you ask for?
I'm not really sure there's much more you can ask for, to be honest.
Well, there might be one thing. Please buy my EP and t-shirts. That's another couple of things I could ask for.
Yeah, there is that.
No, but yeah, I do miss home, but I don't think I can write about it. I don't really, like, when I write the instrumental stuff, I don't really have anything I'm writing about. It's sort of just how I'm feeling at the time I'm writing it. I notice a lot of the time when I'm just writing for the sake of writing, it's bland and, I think it was Picasso that said inspiration finds you while you're working.
Oh, yeah.
But if it doesn't find you, then...
you're just making stuff by the numbers.
Yeah. So, like, you have to be quite passionate about whatever you're writing for it to be good. But, that being said, I find, like, a really weird disconnect between me and my material sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, they're just songs. That's it. But, yeah, like, the singer-songwriter stuff that I write, I can't sing, right?
Oh, me neither.
But we write them.
We write them.
I have more of a connection with them than I do these tunes. It's a bit weird.
So, what was your favourite gig you've ever been to?
Been to? Oh, my favourite.
Or one that stands out.
One that stands out was when I went to see Meshuggah.
Meshuggah?
Yeah. I went with my friend Owen, and that was silly. That was just a 2-hour mosh pit.
A 2-hour mosh pit?
It was insane, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Guns N' Roses in London, and it wasn't, like, my favourite gig, but it stands out because it kind of, like... 11-year-old Alex was there at the front.
Oh yeah.
He came out and he had a great time. I saw Andy McKee as well. Andy McKee is another one that stands out. He is an incredible inspiration, for me. The stuff he writes and how he plays, and just him as a person, he's just such a lovely man. Like, Rylan is one of my favorite pieces of music ever. I don't think anything can top it, in my mind at least.
Yeah.
and that tune, especially like the ending, inspires so many of my endings, even though they're complete polar opposites.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that sort of like home feeling. Like you're back home, but it's kind of different. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a bit of a weird one. Explaining the writing process is just so difficult, because I used to ask that all the time. Like in this guitar camp thing, I saw Andy then, like, how do you write? And he's like, just do. You know, it's really difficult to describe step by step. I'm sure, like, if I sat down writing down what I did, how I did it, then yeah, all the info would be there. But no, it's just really difficult to describe it sometimes. It just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah, just like, oh, this sounds cool.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Yeah. I mean, I guess with instrumental music as well, that's all you need. Like, because it's not like, you know, you need lyrics to then follow. So, like, all the lyrics have got to make sense, or then, like, you know, follow on from each other. Like, you know, you can just make stuff that sounds cool, and then make more stuff that sounds cool to follow after the stuff that already sounds cool.
Defo. That's pretty much it. As long as, like, they're linked together, it makes sense. You know, that's that's what's important. That everything flows. And also, being instrumental music, you can't just play. You know, you have to really express what the music is through your playing with like the little subtleties and stuff. Like Nick Johnston's a great example. You know, he has a tune called Weakened by Winter, and he comes in with that little guitar motif. I'm just like, oh, that's absolutely, it's beautiful. You know, like you need to have like a tremendous amount of feel and a certain like connection with the material to really express it, which makes it more interesting than just a person playing the notes.
Yeah.
You know.
And I feel like it's one of those things that the audience, like especially when it's being played live, will be able to appreciate, because, you know, they'll be able to see from the way that you're playing things that you're feeling it. You know, like it's all about facial expressions, or, you know, like, not just sort of being stood there emotionless, like just sort of looking out, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, because I am very much a person that's emotionless and looking out. But when I do play the solos and stuff, you know, I do, you know, you do tend to lose yourself sometimes. And other times it's just, you know, like every show is unique, I guess. And sometimes they work for you, and sometimes you're just going by the motions. But either way, you're acting on stage. So I don't think the audience can ever really tell when it's real or not. But if it's real for them, that's all that matters.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think in this gig, because some of the parts are a little bit tricky, I'm just going to be like looking at Josh like, did I get it right? John, was that okay? So, yeah, I'm quite nervous for the gig, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, the audience has not heard this stuff yet.
No.
They won't know if you're playing it correct or not, so just, you know,
and it's
play
my
what you
first
want.
ever gig as well.
Is it your first ever, like, solo gig?
Yeah, I've never done anything with this project before.
Wow.
This would be the very first one. And I have a great band with me, which really helps calm the nerves, because I trust them. Yeah, like, I've played loads before.
Yeah, I've seen you play live before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you in Astragos, I think.
Oh, yeah, Stragos. Yeah, it was like that uni band for the prog stuff. That was really interesting, because with like the Tesseract covers and all that, it really gets you to play tighter than you would normally play if you're like, you know, a shreddy guitar boy.
Yeah.
It was really good fun. But as well, like, because I wasn't the main focus, if I messed up, it wasn't too bad of a problem. And there was always Luke there who would just play the parts right if I didn't, and I would play the parts right if he didn't. But being like the main focus of a project, I've never had that experience.
You're going to be stood center stage.
So center stage and having to put a show on and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, move about, shake my head a bit, and be like, oh, wasn't that fun?
So when you are playing live, you know, like, are you going to have a microphone to talk to the audience and stuff, or are you just going to, you know, start playing, stop playing, start playing, stop playing?
I'll have a mic.
You'll have a mic.
Yeah, like, what I love most about shows is when you see how, you know, the artist is a real person.
Yeah.
It's like when I saw Andy McKee and he was like telling us, it's very much like in the percussive acoustic stuff that they do tell stories in between songs and stuff. I'm not going to be telling stories.
No.
But it's more like that, like, yep, he's speaking,
yeah,
he's normal.
the interaction, you know. Like,
it's important, and you grasp them, don't you? You grasp your audience.
Like, I've been at gigs before, like, when I'm talking about audience interaction, the gig that always comes to mind for me is I went to see Kings of Leon, and I saw them, and there was almost like no crowd interaction whatsoever.
Oh,
which
yeah.
turned, like, it turned me off like straight away. Really,
Mhm.
like that's always one of the things that, like, I sort of love, because it's like it shows that they care, that the audience is having a good time, rather than just standing there and going through the motions and just playing the songs as quickly as possible to just get them out of the way.
Mhm.
It's one of my least favorite gigs I've been to.
Yeah, they played the festival that I played in back home, the Gibraltar Music Festival. They played it as well in
Yeah.
the same days. I'm like, I'm so excited to see these guys. And yeah, like what you said, they just didn't. It was just bland,
Yeah.
really.
It was almost like just listening to the CD, but with the gain turned up a bit.
Yeah, pretty much. I only went for like two songs. Use Somebody and Sex is on Fire, I think.
Yeah,
I was like, yep, got those two out of the way.
they're
I'm
two
gonna go.
biggest songs basically.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, they're big, so they must be good. And then the live performance was just a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I saw Weezer though.
Oh really?
Yeah, Weezer was great.
Yeah.
That's when like 14-year-old Alex came out and was like, let's go. And they had really good crowd interaction. Like that was a very powerful gig.
Yeah.
And people would be like, "Well, it's Weezer." I'm like, "Yep, it's Weezer. Go see them live. Do it." They're playing Huddersfield, aren't they?
They are. I'm going to see them.
Oh, I need to get my
it's-
tickets.
It's Green Day, Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and The Interrupters are the special guests.
Oh, I've never heard of the Interrupted.
The Interrupters, they're like a sort of ska punk band,
Oh, okay.
fronted by a very powerful woman. It's what you want these days.
Oh, definitely.
I saw them supporting Green Day the last time I saw Green Day,
Mhm.
Manchester Arena 2017, I think it was. Might be 2016, one of the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they were, Green Day were obviously amazing at the time, and the Interrupters, I was just kind of like, like going into the gig, I wasn't, I just listened to them because, you listen to the support band, so you have an essence of familiarity. When they started playing, I was like, nah, these guys are good.
Yeah.
And like, I'm so glad I get to see them play again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You need to go to see the support bands.
Yeah.
When you can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna go for the main act alone. Because if the main act like the support band enough for them to play,
Yeah.
you just need to check them out, and it's good for them as well. Like they get a bigger audience, a bigger fan base. You might buy their merch. You might even like them more than the headliner.
Yeah, I've been to
Yeah.
gigs before where like the first support act is the one that's blown me away the most.
Yeah, if it's a good support band, they will impact you, and you will go home and you will listen to them.
Yeah. Who's supporting you again?
Just suppose.
Oh yeah, I've seen them before.
And there is another band on the works.
A special guest.
A special guest. That's far. There are bands
Hmm.
that are in my mind. It's just getting them. I wanted to get Creative of Destroy to play,
Hmm.
but Pete lives in Leeds and he's played for me, and he also plays for CED. So
That'd be quite an exhausting night for people.
yeah, it will be exhausting. So
Yeah.
it's just like, you know what, just play for me because I need you more. Please.
But I'm sure it'll be a very fun night nonetheless.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be really fun. I'm really excited. And Parish, it's just a good place to be, really.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a Parish gig.
No, you can't. No.
All their food.
Oh, the food is so good.
The food is so good.
Yeah.
Like, the day I had those curly fries just changed my life forever.
They're really good.
But yeah, so 12th of November, Parish,
Yeah.
Tuesday night. Get
Mhm.
down and see Vallejo, spotted by Just Suppose and another special guest. Buy some merch, buy the EP. Is it going to be physical copies or is it just online
I hope
only?
so.
You hope so.
I hope so. I can't say 100%
Mm.
yet. But if they won't be available at the gig, they will be available soon after.
That's a good
So-
sign. So, where can people find you? Like, if they want to find you online, what's your, handles and
So,
stuff?
my Instagram handle is Alex Vallejo Music, VALLEJO, because no one knows how to spell my surname whenever I pronounce it. On Facebook, it's just Alex Vallejo. You might pop up with my profile. It's quite difficult to find the page, but if you just search Alex Vallejo Music with no spaces, you'll probably get it. And then you'll be able to find me as Alex Vallejo on Spotify and Apple Music and Bandcamp and Tidal and any other place that DistroKid distributes my music to. So yeah,
Go and check him out.
please.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
No worries.
Yeah, and I wish you luck with the launch of your debut EP.
Thank you. It's gonna be wild.
You're listening to Fresh from the Scene with Ruby Price.
Thank you for listening. Make sure you check out Alex at the Parish in Huddersfield on the 12th of November. Don't forget to share this podcast on social media, and if you have time, why not leave a review? You can find me online at FFTscene and at Rubes. And I'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you. Goodbye.